Wojak had never cared much about politics. At 30, he'd spent most of his life just trying to get by, working late nights and long hours, paying bills that always seemed to pile up. He had his fair share of disappointments, and somewhere along the line, he'd lost faith in the idea that anything could truly change for people like him. Politics felt like something distant, a game for people in suits and offices. But this year, something shifted. The years had been hard on him. With inflation rising, his paychecks barely covered the essentials. He watched friends lose jobs, families torn apart by financial strain, and communities divided. He saw his mother's health worsen, her access to medical care slipping as expenses went up. For the first time, Wojak felt a stirring of anger, a need to do something, to be part of the solution, no matter how small. So, when he saw the voter registration booth outside his local grocery store, he stopped. "Thinking about voting?" the young volunteer asked, smiling warmly. "Yeah, I think I am," Wojak replied, surprised by the words coming out of his mouth. The days leading up to the election were filled with both anticipation and anxiety. Wojak researched the candidates, read about their policies, and tried to understand what each one stood for. He wanted to make an informed decision, one that could genuinely impact the lives of people like him and his neighbors. Every day after work, he would sit at his kitchen table, poring over articles and pamphlets, feeling a strange sense of purpose. This vote, he realized, wasn't just for him. It was for his family, his mother, and every friend who felt powerless in the face of a system that seemed to forget them. When election day finally arrived, Wojak woke up early. The morning was crisp, the sky overcast, and he felt a mix of nerves and excitement he hadn't felt in years. He wore his best jacket, made himself a simple breakfast, and stood in front of the mirror. He adjusted his collar, feeling as if he was about to face something monumental. The polling station was buzzing with people from all walks of life. There were parents with young children, elderly couples holding hands, young people casting their votes for the first time. Wojak stood in line, feeling a strange kinship with the strangers around him. They were all here for the same reason: hope for a better future. As he reached the front of the line, the poll worker handed him a ballot. Wojak took it with trembling hands, the weight of the moment settling on him. He found a small private booth and took a deep breath before marking his choices. With each tick of his pen, he felt a sense of power he hadn't expected. His voice, one he'd thought was too small to matter, was being heard. When he finally cast his ballot, Wojak felt a wave of emotion wash over him. It was as if years of frustration, of feeling invisible, had found a release. He thought of his mother, of her sacrifices, and how she'd always hoped for a better life for him. He thought of his friends, struggling alongside him, and felt a renewed determination to fight for a world that looked out for them too. Outside the polling station, he saw others with "I voted" stickers, some hugging, others taking pictures. Wojak touched his own sticker, feeling an overwhelming sense of pride. He had taken the first step towards making a difference, no matter how small. As he walked home, he thought about the future, about the work that still needed to be done. Voting was just one part of it, but it was a start. For the first time in a long while, Wojak felt that change was possible, that maybe, just maybe, his voice mattered. And as he looked up at the city around him, he felt a small spark of hope rekindle within him.